quickly, it's great to be back in Marion. Been here a lot the last 2 years. I'm going to be here a lot the next 3. I care very much about this community, this part of the state. Incredibly hardworking people here. Great location here nationwide. This part of the state should be booming economically, and it's really not. We've got undeveloped energy resources here. We've got the potential to be stronger in manufacturing, stronger in transportation. We can be outstanding in this part of the state, and I want to make that happen. We're working hard to get a budget. We hope to get one soon. As part of getting a budget, we want to make pro-growth changes so we have businesses having confidence in the state, coming to Marion, coming to all sections of Illinois to invest and grow, create high-paying jobs, great careers for everybody here. That's what our agenda is about, and that's what we're here talking about today.
Governor, if there was one simple thing that could get the budget fixed in your mind, or get it passed, what would that be?
One simple thing. Well, the critical thing is that we make structural changes so we're a growth state. As we were talking about, we have not grown. We have not created a single net new job in 16 years. Think about that, 16 years. And in the meantime, our Medicaid spending has ballooned by triple. Our pension payments have gone up almost 10 times. And meanwhile, flatlined down on jobs. That has to change. We need major structural reforms. Workers' comp reform, tort reform, tax reform, and especially property taxes. That's our worst tax. And if we get local control so residents in Williamson County or Marion or Chicago can control their costs in their local governments, then we can have the confidence of the business community so they'll come here and invest.
Mr. Governor, Alexander County has had to lay off a couple of sheriff's deputies because budget concerns. One point is the budget impact going to cause even more budget concerns, security risks.
Yes, well, there are many things happening around the state that shouldn't have to happen and that are bad because we don't have a budget. I'm very frustrated by it. It's not good. I am pushing hard with the General Assembly to get them to compromise and to get a budget passed. My sense is they're probably not going to take votes on a budget till January. That's my guess. I don't know. That it could be sooner, it could be later, but that's my best guess at the moment. I hope that people around the state can stay persistent and we can together find ways to minimize the damage that not having a budget can cause. We're trying to help communities that need certain essential services, help them come up with financing or ways to get some cash to keep operating until we get a budget. Hopefully we'll get that soon.
We keep hearing from Leslie Munger's office that the state $8.5 billion, that's a shortfall. Where's this money going without that budget being passed?
Well, unfortunately, Illinois has been so badly run for so many years that we are under court orders and consent decrees forcing spending at a certain level in many departments. And this goes back to the 1990s. This is 20 years of bad management and courts saying you have to spend money this way at this level. We're trying to change the government operations. I'll tell you, since becoming governor and moving to Springfield in January, I've gone into many of the departments in state government and to talk about how we're going to improve operations and how we can streamline costs and pay bonuses to employees who come up with ways to save taxpayer money. And in most of the departments, somebody will stand up in the back and say, "I've worked for state government for 27 years. I've never seen a governor. Governors never come talk to us." There hasn't been a management process. They're good people in state government, but they haven't been led. They haven't been given the proper incentives, and that's what we're going to change.
I'm having a problem hearing, so I hope this hasn't been asked, but have you had a discussion with Controller Munger since her comments on Friday about dropping the union issue, and what did you think about her comments?
People have been making a lot of comments out there, and well, I just focus on what we're going to change, why we're going to change it. For those who've been running around the state saying the governor is pushing right to work is nowhere on our agenda. It is not in our agenda, and there is no bill for right to work that is part of our legislation. We've pushed 6 bills. Right to work is not part of it. So the folks who are pushing that issue are just trying to create a smokescreen of opposition. What we need to focus on is workers' comp reform, tort reform, property tax relief, term limits on elected officials, and redistricting reform. That's what we're pushing, and that's what Democrats and Republicans support those reforms.
Was Munger misinformed?
I'd have to see her comments to respond. I'd have to see, did she say right to work or what she was referring to? I'm not sure. Yes.
Senator Morrison put forth a bill that asks that you and Fullerton and Madigan meet once a week and prove that you've met once a week. What do you think about that, and what do you think it says about you and the other leaders?
There are a lot of ideas flying around. Difficult negotiations tend not to be productive held through the media or held under, micro scrutiny every day. I've never seen, and whether that's in government, in politics, in business, in private life, having sensitive negotiations held through public discourse, very hard to do. I've never seen that succeed. We are having cordial conversations on a regular basis. I'm personally meeting with legislators. I'm personally meeting with Speaker Madigan, President Cullerton, the mayor of Chicago, who has a significant, voice in the legislature, in the Democratic Party in Illinois. We're having cordial, productive conversations. I'm getting more cautiously optimistic that we're coming together around a consensus. I won't discuss who said what or who's in what meeting. I found that to be pretty counterproductive. But we're just going to keep working hard, basically 7 days a week, and the sooner we get it done, the better. I'm pushing very hard.
Motor fuel tax, 911, funding like that is already allocated through state law to certain departments that's not a part of the general fund. Where's that funding at? Why aren't the counties getting it?
Well, so we don't have a budget, we don't have appropriations, and we are running out of money for absolutely life-threatening critical issues. We've got to make sure that we do everything we can as a government to keep the government open and running, and the most critical services get cash to keep serving, so the people of Illinois get the really essential services. And what we've done is create a SWAT team to help work with cities, counties, emergency personnel, child care providers, healthcare providers, to come up with ways where they can get the cash they need to keep providing the service while we don't have a budget. And we're coming up with ways to deal with 911 and other ways during this period of time where we're without a budget and with a real cash flow crisis. And I think we're getting through it fairly well. And I want to assure everyone here in Marion and around the state, we're coming up with solutions so the most critical things are going to get funded one way or another, so we can keep essential things provided for people.
You mentioned education's a priority. You have a meeting, I believe, with university presidents
Yes.
tomorrow. What
Yes.
will your message be to those who are begging for state funding?
Yeah, so let's talk about education, especially universities. I'll say a couple things. I, as governor, ran and it was a priority for education. I want education well-funded and well-supported, and that's universities, community colleges, K-12, and also early childhood. I'm sorry that we don't have a budget and we don't have an appropriation for our universities today. I've been talking with the universities. It looks like it's hard on them, but they can get through this period until we get a budget. It looks like everybody that I've met with and talked, and we'll talk more with the presidents, as you say, tomorrow. I'm sorry they're going through this difficult time. My goal as governor is to actually increase support for education, not decrease it or hold it level. I want to increase it because nothing's more important than educating our young people. They're our future. The one thing that I will emphasize with our university presidents, and I've said before and I'll say again, is when I look at the numbers and the financial performance of our school systems and our universities, too much money, too much taxpayer money goes to overhead, to bureaucracy, to layers of administration, not enough to teachers, professors, and students. We need the money in the classroom with the teachers and the students, not into layers and layers of administration, bureaucracy, overtime, work rules, pensions, layers of paper shuffling and bureaucracy, regulatory oversight. We need the teachers supported and the students supported. And so I'm going to encourage the universities to shrink their overhead spending and also to work together cooperatively around the state, because not every university should try to be outstanding at every subject. To the degree that we want to serve the people of Illinois, maybe certain campuses or schools should be great at accounting and welding. I'm picking two things, and other schools should be outstanding at business administration and nursing. And for every school to try to do everything well, and then be overstaffed. Like, we have too many seats in many schools. We have too much capacity relative to the number of students who want to go there. We've got to do some adjusting, and so we can drive efficiency and more value for the taxpayers of Illinois.